everyone, it's me, Jax B. I'm here doing an interview with Derrick Jackson of Derrick J Arts. He's fighting these Corona COVID chaotic times, that's a tongue twister, by painting a mural on the B-Box on J Street, which is an awesome little shop where you can buy all your honey and bee needs. So we're just gonna find out what he's doing in Sacramento, where the art scene is going, and how that collaborates in the industry with community progress. So to start off, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Derrick J Arts. Grew up in Sacramento. Went to Sheldon High School.
Whoop, whoop.
Graduated 01, and I did a lot of art with a few other artists. I think Garibaldi was in my class, my friend Josh Silvera. A lot of great artists came out of that school. We started doing like shows in Midtown, like around like 2005, 2006, with a store called Revibe and a few other kind of places off J Street. And we had some cool functions and a lot of cool, like we kind of, I feel like we brought Second Saturday kind of back because it was kind of not really around until like the mid 2000s. So much, and since then I kind of grown up, moved out of Midtown. I'm still trying to stay close and still doing my art. It's always something I do, like whether it's gonna get famous one day or not, it's almost like a hobby. It kind of keeps me sane outside of my day job, which is like at Allstate. So I'm kind of towing the line. Right now just kind of trying to do like a piece a month, maybe two.
Nice.
And then I just started this mural for the B-Box next door. That's kind of what I'm doing now.
Well, before we go into that, let me circle back around to, you mentioned you went to school with David Garibaldi, because we've actually collaborated with him before in the past. He sponsored our show when we had it at Doco Plaza before they opened up, and we've done an interview with him before. So going off of that, it's all about community collaboration in this industry. What is your background working in Sacramento in the art scene? And maybe if you could tell us a little bit about some of the work you've done out here?
Oh man, so I've done collaborations with a lot of local artists, anywhere from Raul, we call him El Pinguino, to Sean Turner way back in the day. Shows from Sac State across Midtown, probably like, maybe 100 in the last like 15 years. And what I've been trying to do recently is work with my buddy Raul Mejia and kind of have more of like group shows and have a lot of up and coming artists collaborate and participate. The last show we had off Del Paso, I think we had almost 40 artists, all range of skills, all range of media, and just trying to, bring people in and keep it positive. And I feel like I'm not like an OG or nothing, and but I still feel like I've been in the game for a minute, and so I have my feelings about different artists and stuff like that. But I try to keep it positive, kind of do my own thing. So when people see my art, this is Derrick J Arts' work, and people know it, and that's kind of my goal, is to really stand out on my own and have my own signature style, which I think I'm pretty accomplished that, but I could always get better.
Definitely. On that note, having seen some of your art, I definitely feel like you have your own style, and I love it. I think it's amazing, and I'm honored to be able to interview you today, especially amidst all the chaos. And bringing up Garibaldi is more, or not to tie you to that specific branding or anybody in particular, but collaboration is what I think is really bringing the art scene up across the board in Sacramento, with the growth of the Golden One Center and everything that's starting to come this way. It's making us more of a cosmopolitan city, and I think it's important for all of us to bring each other up rather than to compete and tear each other down. And I feel like there's really a sense of community that's building with the rise in popularity.
Yes and no. I'd say that this is the time to be an artist in Sacramento.
Right.
A lot of stuff we were doing. Well, we used to have to beg and scrape to do like a show at a boutique. It wasn't just a given.
Right.
And we had to prove ourselves, and we usually got the show, but it wasn't just like, hey, I want to show art. But now I feel like a lot of artists like Garibaldi, me, Silvera, Burner, and a lot of other folks, Raul, have made it so artists can come into Midtown and just be like, I want to do a show here, and most galleries, most boutiques are open to that, and everywhere is trying to have some art up, and it didn't used to be that way, and I think that's a positive thing. Now it is kind of something where it's kind of flooded, I guess, the market, I'd say, with all different types of art, whether you like it or not, or if it's technically good or whatever. I mean, it's all over the place, but still more people are eating, and that's good. That's always good. The point, I think, is for some artists that maybe are, I don't know if they made it, or whatever, for Sacramento, I don't know what that means, but there is a lot of like clickiness, and sometimes I feel like people do need to, like, that working together is good, but it is competition. We live in a free market society. So there's a little bit of beef is not like a bad thing either.
Yes.
I think it encourages growth. I think sometimes people are a little too like afraid to say what they mean or voice their opinion about art, like if they like it or they don't. And I always want my constructive criticism, because I think it makes me grow as an artist too.
Definitely. Well, there's definitely a fine line between healthy criticism to compete and tearing people down.
Sure.
And hopefully that's not the direction it goes as we get more well known in like other cities and whatnot, but we'll see. So on that note, where do you see the art scene for Sacramento and for yourself in the next 5 years?
Oh man, I'm just gonna keep plugging away and doing my thing, and I've never had an issue with selling my art to this day. Like I can't even count all the paintings I've done, and I don't have them anymore, which is good. That's awesome. Sometimes I regret that, because I can't actually like have them all and really show off them in a show and like show all my progression. But my goal is to maybe have a show, maybe hold off selling some of these pieces that I'm doing, and really just come out like with like 10 pieces and just really knock people's socks off. Maybe take them to SF, maybe take them to another city. And it just takes time, and when you got a 40-hour week day job, it's tough to kind of make time to paint, and I always try. And that's one thing that I will say. A lot of artists, I give props to certain people, because it is a lifestyle. Like you kind of live as an artist, like that starving artist kind of idea. And I've always been in the like old school, where my parents kind of taught me like, dude, to get your day job, and it sucks, because it's like that's an old way of thinking, and you can really make it off your art these days, but it takes a lot of hard work. And I kind of try to toe the line, and I like to have a nice phone. I like to have a nice apartment. I'm not willing to sacrifice that to live the arts life. I moved out of Midtown because it's just too expensive. Like, so I made sacrifices, and so I'm just trying to keep my head up and still participate when I can. And if anybody out there is having a show, I'd love you to give a shout out, because I think any show that I'm in it's gonna be cracking. I don't think I'm gonna hurt anybody by being involved in a group show.
Right. Okay. Well, speaking of, are there any artists that you want to give a shout out to?
Oh, man, I'm so freaking stuck in the house, and I'm kind of like a lonely, what do you call it?
A lone wolf.
A lone wolf. Rolling Stone. No, like. I mean, like my boy Raul, like I give big ups to him. Like we did a show way back in the day called the La Senorita Show off like 24th and J. This was like 2004. It was me, him and Josh, and we had live painting. We had a DJ. I mean, this was like 15 years ago. Like, wow. And that kind of stuff wasn't going on. So to this day, like Raul actually he did the mural for. The Mexican food joint on 15th and Cheetahs. No, not Cheetahs. Chandos.
Oh, Chandos, the cantina.
Yeah,
okay.
So all those kind of Hispanic, like kind of famous folks, like in Orange, like that's him. So he's doing his thing, and I always try to collaborate with him. And every time we have a show, we get it cracking. So as soon as this thing is kind of lifted off, we're gonna have some shows in Del Paso. So definitely.
Okay. Well, we'll look forward to that, and definitely link your info in the article.
At Derrick J Arts.
Okay, Derrick J Arts, you heard it here.
DERRECKJARTS.
Awesome. And on the subject of when this is over, this being the pandemic lockdown that we are all having to power through as a society, as a human race, what you briefly mentioned it at the beginning of the interview. What are you doing right now to fight the boredom, keep your sanity, stay positive?
I work all state's my day job. The owners are third generation beef farmers, so we had our little function today. Suggested I do a mural for them. That's kind of my little stopgap and staying frosty, and my first kind of mural in Sacramento that, like, it's me, myself, it's a commission, it's going to be big, it's going to be sick. So that's pretty much, what I've kind of been doing lately. And I'm always working. I always got pieces that I'm kind of messing with. I'm working on a piece for my boy General right now, of some of his buddies from Queens. So other than that, just kind of doing. I'm always working on something. So.
Okay, well, that's the best way to fight it, and the best way to stay positive, which is what we're all trying to do. I mean, I thank you for taking the time to sit down and talk with me.
No, thank you.
The fashion industry has been shut down pretty much in terms of shows and whatnot, obviously. So we're trying to do the same thing, do whatever we can to still stay positive, still socialize, still keep our wits about us. And although art, paint and whatnot is not exactly the same as fashion, it is all art in one way or another, and I look forward to the collaboration of both industries as a whole industry as we move forward with this city. So thank you for taking the time to talk to us, and we will definitely link all your info so you guys can stay in tune with what Mr. Jackson here is doing.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great one.
All right.
So